Right now at 5, we're learning new details about a homicide near Badger Tavern as police continue to search for a motive. Plus, the latest on honoring those lost indigenous people missing persons at the Capitol.
Pollen counts are just going to rise, and over the next few days is prime allergy time.
Well, that may be true, but what if your allergy symptoms are actually COVID-19? How you can tell the difference. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. We're just a few months away from the first Republican primary debate. That will take place in Milwaukee in August, but already politicians are starting to weigh in on presidential politics. Political reporter Will Keneally has more. Will?
Eric, we heard this afternoon from the state's powerful Assembly Speaker, Robin Vos, who's been embroiled in Republican presidential politics, especially during the Trump years. At the former president's urging, Vos launched an investigation into the 2020 presidential election over voter fraud. But he made clear today who he does not want to see on next year's ballot.
I do not believe Donald Trump can win the state of Wisconsin. That is my belief, talking to my friends, my neighbors, my relatives. I don't want to nominate people who can't win. I do not want to nominate losers. And that is exactly what I believe will occur if Donald Trump is the nominee. We know how this is going to end.
The Assembly Speaker says Republicans should follow this in the upcoming U.S. Senate race to unseat Tammy Baldwin. He says whichever Republican lines up to challenge Baldwin should follow the moderate track instead of that Trump wing of the Republican Party. We'll have more from his avail coming up tonight at 6. Reporting from the Capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, Will, thank you. Time now to get a look at the first warn forecast as we head for the weekend. Julian Seawright out on the weather patio. Another pretty nice day, Julian.
Oh, it feels great outside, but the clouds are starting to really blanket much of our skies as we're getting into the rest of our Friday evening. But the good news is, folks, it's going to stay rather quiet, at least for the next several hours, until we get into tonight, where we will start to see any form of change. 75 degrees right here in Madison. Folks, near Janesville, almost at 80 degrees. We're getting closer to the rest of our evening, but we're all feeling pretty good, and for some of us, feeling close to summerish as we're getting into the rest of our Friday evening. Around Dane County, Middleton at 74, over towards Edgerton at 79 degrees. So many of us are actually feeling quite mild and even warm as we're getting into the rest of our Friday. But let's take a look at our radar. So there's some activity happening just south of Eau Claire as of right now. Looking at a line of some showers and even some thunderstorms firing off. But for us, when we start to see some wet precipitation, well, we're looking over the next 3 hours. We could possibly see an isolated shower or so starting to make its way towards Madison, but mainly to the west is where we're going to be watching for any kind of developments of storms heading into tonight and early into our Saturday. We have a marginal risk for our friends to the west of Dane County, but as we get into our Sunday, that marginal risk expands just a bit more, but parts of Grant and even Crawford County, mainly to the west, is under a slight risk for seeing severe storms. Now, we are looking for that severe weather to be rather low in terms of confidence, but we do have opportunities for those showers to turn into storms that could be strong and or severe by the time we go into our Sunday. Now, we're going to talk all about this and the timing for our weekend in just a few moments. Until then, back to you, Eric.
Julian, thank you. Madison police have a suspect in custody. They have the gun, but they don't have a motive after a man was shot and killed early this morning. It's not for a lack of intel here. Our Andrew Banstra is joining us now with the story. Andrew?
Yeah, Eric, this is an odd story right here. It's Lieutenant Jason Ostranga's 24th year on the force, and he can't quite think of a case just like this. Like you said, they have the weapon. They even have surveillance footage. They have the suspect, but they don't have the most important answer. Why did one man murder another early this morning?
He's in custody, first-degree intentional homicide, gun recovered. We don't have a motive.
At 12:15 a.m. on Friday, Madison police responded to a man down at Badger Tavern on Madison's west side, a neighborhood bar formerly known as Tony Frank's.
The actual gunfire happened just outside the front door. You could call it the parking lot, but they have a little smoking area just off the front steps.
The suspect is a 23-year-old male that police believe was under the influence. We're not naming him right now because he has not been formally charged.
At some point, the suspect draws a firearm and kills him.
Between 12 witnesses and surveillance footage, no one knows why the 23-year-old shot and killed the man. Not only did the suspect and victim not know each other, there wasn't even an altercation.
There's usually money, drugs, or women, and there's no rhyme or reason. There wasn't a, hey, these guys have been talking crap about each other, you know. A year ago, they got into it.
He didn't flee the scene, and police can't yet confirm that the gun belonged to the alleged shooter. The victim, who was pronounced dead at the scene, was an adult male in his 40s.
The unusual part about this one is a lot of times we have scenes on shootings or how no one wants to cooperate. Everybody takes off. Everyone there was super cooperative. Yeah, I'll wait, no problem.
In his 24 years with the force, this case stands out as very unusual, especially with so many cooperating witnesses, yet no motive.
The suspect the suspect police told me that they requested a lawyer, the suspect did, when he was questioned, so they haven't had a chance to sit down with him. When we get those answers, we'll get them right to you.
All right, bizarre case. Andrew, thank you. Now to Sun Prairie, where police are investigating a shooting that injured a 15-year-old. Someone dropped the teen off at UW Health East Madison with a gunshot wound. That was on Tuesday. Well, he's now in stable condition. Sun Prairie believe the shooting happened on Aspen Place near Highway 151. Officers say it was an isolated incident. There's no threat to the community, but anyone with information is asked to call the Sun Prairie Police Department. It's 608-837-7336. New at 5, one person was hospitalized after a lawnmower collided with a van on Madison's far west side. It happened at the intersection of Junction and Old Sauk Roads just after 10 this morning. Crews arrived to find a van with front bumper damage resting against the side of a riding mower. Officials say the lawnmower operator was thrown to the ground and hospitalized with minor injuries. It's unclear what caused that incident. Meanwhile, in Milwaukee, 8 men are facing charges in connection to a string of armed robberies involving U.S. mail carriers. Those men are accused of stealing more than $500,000 in a check washing operation. According to a criminal complaint, the group stole at least 5 Arrow keys. That's a universal key that allows them to open mail collection boxes and apartment panels. Better Business Bureau says scams like check washing continue to grow, but there are ways to protect yourself.
If you're writing a check, you want to use a blue or black non-erasable gel ink. And also, take your mail to the post office to mail. Hand it to the clerk if you can.
The Postal Service says it's planning to implement additional preventative measures this spring to address evolving security threats. Dane County Executive Joe Parisi will have to go back to the drawing board after his choice to run the county's largest department, that would be Human Services. That choice was rejected, with the board voting to deny Representative Sheila Stubbs. Members are making it clear what they want from Executive Parisi in a search for another candidate. At last night's county board meeting, they questioned the hiring process itself, suggesting a lot of the blame lies with Parisi and his administration. They say not enough time or resources were spent on finding the right candidate.
There is a misnomer that our job as a county board is to be a rubber stamp approval board. While I realize that there has been rampant misinformation about our process, it does not change that we have a process that we are legislated to move forward, including questioning of appointments from the county executive.
Supervisors say to lead a department responsible for 800 people and $240 million in county funds, they expect a more rigorous hiring process. In a statement last night, Parisi said his nominee was treated unfairly and worried it would damage the county's ability to recruit talent. New at 5 today is National Day of Awareness for Missing or Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. Indigenous families held an event at the Capitol today to help raise awareness, support, and healing for Indigenous people and the violence that Native women and girls experience. Organizers say they hope the event will help state lawmakers reconsider eliminating Governor Tony Evers' Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women office.
Be an ally, uplifting survivors and families' voices. Be part of the grassroots movements that are moving this along. And when you're in spaces with families, bring them up to the forefront. Let them be in that space safely.
Missing or Murdered Indigenous Persons Awareness Day is held annually on May 5th. That's the birthday of Hannah Harris, a tribal citizen of the Northern Cheyenne tribe who went missing in 2013 and was later found brutally murdered. Meanwhile, police have arrested the man suspected of stabbing 3 people at a California university. 21-year-old Carlos Dominguez was a former student at UC Davis who left the school after unspecified academic issues. He's now facing 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. Prosecutors added a separate enhancement for the first 2 counts alleging multiple murders, which means the death penalty or a life prison sentence without parole is possible. Happening tomorrow, the coronation of Britain's King Charles, and London is ready to celebrate. Earlier today, Charles made an unexpected stop, greeting delighted crowds near Buckingham Palace. Royal fans also had a glimpse of Prince William and Kate as London gears up for the first coronation in 70 years. A royal procession will spread for nearly 1.5 miles through the streets in central London, giving crowds, some of whom have camped out there for days, the opportunity to see their newly crowned king.
What What is it about the British monarchy that you love so much?
It gives a real sense of stability, but also it's just wonderful tradition.
King Charles III and his wife Camilla will ride from the palace in the Diamond Jubilee State Coach, arriving at Westminster Abbey, where both will be crowned. And Camilla will become queen. You can watch the coronation tomorrow right here on Channel 3, beginning at 4 a.m. And then you can stick around for News 3 weekend mornings at 9. Coming up, Julian has our complete weekend forecast, plus how you can tell if your symptoms are seasonal allergies or COVID-19. Health officials share some differences after the break. And stocks make up some of the week's losses after the April jobs report, up almost 547 points. The Nasdaq adds 269 points. The S&P 500 gains 75. And we'll be right back.
Complete your spring cleanup with help from Menards. Works Outdoor Power Tools have everything you need to maintain your yard. Pick up the 20-volt cordless string trimmer edger and leaf blower combo kit for just $109.99 after rebate. Check out the rest of Works Power Tools and get the job done right. Clean up your yard and save big money. Right now, the Works 40-volt cordless lawnmower is $299.99 after 11% rebate at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Join the circle of life at the Lion King. Experience the world's #1 musical. Don't miss your chance to see The Lion King, one of the most awe-inspiring productions ever brought to life on stage.
Coming to Overture Center May 11th through 28th. Tickets on sale now at overture.org.
At the Spectrum Lab, we're bringing you the best in connectivity with Spectrum One. Get Spectrum Internet with the fastest speeds in the nation, so you always have enough speed for all your devices.
Plus, advanced Wi-Fi delivering state-of-the-art security and privacy.
Plus, Spectrum Mobile gives you unlimited talk, text, and data on a reliable nationwide network.
Get Spectrum One with Spectrum Internet for $49.99 a month, plus advanced Wi-Fi, plus your first line of Spectrum Mobile Unlimited, free for 12 months. Call 833-792-4999. Visit Spectrum.com or Spectrum Store today.
Need life insurance? SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And SelectQuote found his wife Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Transform your yard into something you can be proud of. From initial design to complete finished installation, Maple Leaf will design a yard that'll be the envy of the neighborhood. Maple Leaf Landscaping, your year-round property care specialists. Just look for the orange leaf.
Raising healthy children takes a village, and kids thrive when their village is healthy too.
SSM Health and News 3 Now are helping you unlock a healthier world with our Time for Kids Keys to Health campaign. We'll show you how sustainable choices create healthier lifestyles, explore the impacts of food security on families,
and share ways we can help build a healthy community together. Join us on air, online, and in your village, and take time for kids.
Leaving Representative Sheila Stubbs adrift, the Dane County Board of Supervisors has rejected her appointment. What comes next in the process to fill that position?
And history was made by a local radio host, shattering a 24-year-old record to the day. That story tonight at 6.
News 3 Now, first warn weather. When you're planning your day, accuracy matters. Trust Madison certified most accurate team, so you'll know what to expect when you head out the door. First warn weather, keeping you ahead of the storms. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
As the COVID pandemic officially comes to an end, Dr. Rochelle Walensky is set to step down as director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. During her 2+ years leading the agency, Dr. Walensky led COVID efforts, but also efforts to fight monkeypox, Ebola in Uganda, and other infectious diseases. President Biden praised Dr. Walensky, saying, quote, "She led a complex organization on the front lines of a once-in-a-generation pandemic with honesty and integrity." She's set to leave at the end of June. Meanwhile, the government will adjust the way it tracks COVID-19 and will stop posting a national count. The color-coded maps of county-by-county transmission will also go away. Instead, the agency will track the disease by hospitalizations and deaths, and masking recommendations will be tied to those hospitalization numbers. With this beautiful weather the past couple of days, you might start to notice your seasonal allergies are really starting to kick in. But don't get those symptoms confused with COVID-19. Our Catherine Merck spoke with our local healthcare experts about monitoring your symptoms properly, even with these eased COVID restrictions. Catherine.
Well, Eric, 1 in 4 adults and nearly 1 in 5 children have a diagnosed seasonal allergy. With that many people who could feel symptoms similar to those of COVID-19, it's important to know the differences to make sure those symptoms aren't something more serious.
A lot of people have kind of moved on from COVID and have not wanted to think that symptoms could be due to COVID.
Friday marks a landmark in the COVID-19 pandemic. It was announced that on May 11th, the nation's COVID-19 public health emergency will officially expire. The CDC deputy director says that doesn't mean COVID is gone for good.
Does this at all change how the American public should treat COVID?
COVID-19 remains a risk, even though the public health emergency is coming to a close, especially for Americans who are immune compromised.
The move comes at a time when many people feel their allergies are at a peak.
Unfortunately, there's a large crossover between symptoms of COVID and spring allergy.
Dr. Mark Moss is an allergist at UW Health. He says even though some variants of COVID have symptoms similar to allergies, there are some differences and signs that you might need a COVID test.
Allergies don't cause people to have fevers, chills, body aches, or in general, extreme fatigue. Those symptoms would highly suggest viral infections such as COVID.
So on these days with spring-like temperatures, make sure to monitor your symptoms to avoid the virus from the 3-year health emergency.
And if your symptoms are particularly severe on days where it's warm and sunny and we've got a nice southerly breeze, your symptoms are more likely to be due to allergy.
So to avoid those seasonal allergy symptoms while you're outside, Dr. Moss says to wear a pollen mask while mowing the lawn or weeding the yard. He also says people with allergies should also avoid hanging clothes out and sheets outside to dry.
Catherine, thank you. A local radio host can now add his name to the world record books. WRT's Andy Moore now holds the world record for most guests interviewed in a single hour. Moore is the host of the Friday 8 o'clock Buzz. Today was his 1-year anniversary of hosting the show, and he managed to talk to 86 people. The record was previously held by the show's previous host, Jonathan Zarov, who interviewed 71 guests back in 1999.
I really liked getting the poem from the Madison Poet Laureate. That was really neat. The other thing I really enjoyed was a number of school teachers somehow managed to find their way down here during these final days of school. And we heard a lot of really important thematic things from them about children and family. And then, of course, Governor Evers, that was a crazy thing.
Andy, congrats. And as for lucky guest 72, who helped him break the record, it was none other than Zarov himself. All right, we're ready for the weekend. Time now to get your first warn forecast. And here is Julian Seawright. Julian?
Well, this weekend's going to be a bit of a mess. We're going to have a bit of everything in terms of spring weather, from warm weather to some sunshine to clouds and, yes, rain and some storms. So let's get right into it. Talking about tonight's temperatures are actually going to be rather mild. We're only going to fall to the middle 50s for around Madison, but many areas are still going to be around 60-degree mark, with some showers starting to develop. Heading into tomorrow, we are looking for some showers early into our Saturday morning, but Saturday afternoon, that's a bit of a different story, and Saturday nights, even more of a different story. Temperatures look to climb near 71 degrees for us as we get into tomorrow, but this is what's happening as of right now. Northwestern side of Wisconsin is already starting to deal with a line of some showers and even some storms just south of Eau Claire. We're rather dry around here, though the clouds have built, but over the next several hours, we could start to see potentially a bit of some rain and even some showers. Storms mainly near La Crosse, but some showers starting to develop around Madison and for Dane County or areas just to the west. But getting into the weekend, well, we are looking for a bit of some chaos for us in terms of the weather world. We are looking for, just to the west, marginal risk, level 1 out of 5 for severe weather just south and west of Madison and areas just to the northern side and the western side of I-94. For Sunday, it expands a bit more east, going towards Rock and Greene counties, but you can see a bit of that slight risk has reached its way in parts of Crawford and Fort Grant County, but it's mainly to the southwestern side. So there's a bunch of uncertainty of what we're going to be seeing for this weekend, but the good thing thing is that at least the temperatures will stay into the 70s. Though those warmer temperatures could be fueling potential storms that could be strong or even severe, but we are looking for these storms to mainly be overnight from Saturday and for Sunday leading into our Monday. But from Sunday night into Wednesday of next week, expect some showers and even some thunderstorms overnight. But those thunderstorms from Sunday night into our Monday morning, some of those could be strong or even severe, though the chance or the risk for the severe storms are rather low. But if they do fire off, our biggest threats from these storms would be hail and for high winds. So let's go ahead and walk through our future track. The rest of tonight, we are going to be watching for developments later into our Friday, around 10 o'clock for much of southern Wisconsin, but it's still going to be rather isolated. Overnight, towards the southwest of Dane County, we are looking for showers to start to continue to move across the area. So as you're heading out the door for Saturday morning, note it's going to be a bit breezy. Temperatures are going to feel a bit on the cooler side, but we will start to see again those showers really phase out by the time we get into our afternoon, but start to build back once we get into our Saturday nights, and even more so once we get into our Sunday as well. We're looking for that resurgence mainly near the northern Illinois state line of those storms to really start to fire off that could be strong or severe. Could see some significant amounts of rainfall for some of these areas over the course of this entire weekend, but it's one thing to be watching for because we will have periods of dry, but also periods of storms throughout much of this weekend. So make sure you're staying really up to date with the First Warn Weather Team as we're going to be breaking down everything for you. Take a look at our 10-day forecast. 70s stick around. Our best time for quiet weather will be from Tuesday to Thursday of next week, but another round of storms is going to be possible. Taking a look at traffic as of right now. Moving rather smoothly this 5 o'clock hour along US 12. But as we take a look, we still have that crash just near Jefferson as of right now, which has slowed some of the areas just east of I-94. It's going to do it for our weather and traffic. Let's go ahead and send it to you.
Julian, thank you. A new area code is now in service for phones in northeastern Wisconsin and also for some folks in our viewing area. The 274 area code now in effect for places like Fort Atkinson, Beaver Dam, Watertown, Columbus, and Waterloo. It overlaps with areas previously served by the 920 area code. 274 will also apply to parts of Green Bay and Appleton to the north. If you already have a 920 number, you will not need to change your number. And then later this year, keep this in mind, parts of the 608 area code will switch over to the 353 area code. The Merrimack Ferry back up and running after some mechanical issues have been repaired. Some of the ferry's parts are very specific, as you might imagine, so it took a while to track them down. Last year it closed down, I should say it opened up on March 31st and then closed down in mid-December. Both the DOT and Sauk County websites have links to let you know if it's up and running if you're planning to use the ferry. It is Cinco de Mayo, and next at 5 we'll share some healthier options to help you celebrate. Stay with us.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
You and running have been together for a while now. Fact is, so has Morgan's Good Form Running. Every run is more than just a run. It's about finding oneself. Movement in a new pair of Hokas is good magic. Gear up today at Morgan's Good Form Running. Buy a pair of Hokas and experience the difference. Why run when you can fly?
Experience the comfort and style of Hoka. Visit us here today at Morgan's Good Form Running.
Morgan's Good Form Running, Hilldale.
Here's your parachute. Packed it myself.
Certain it's okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are you 4imprint certain?
Certainty matters. Like the certainty of congratulating coworkers or saying thank you for being a customer with promotional products from 4imprint. Our expert team is dedicated to making your satisfaction a certainty.
Packed it myself.
Land the perfect products at 4imprint.com.
4imprint, for certain.
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
He's going to speak now.
The good news, U.S. Cellular gives you $1,200 off any phone with no trade-in needed.
Wow.
So, friend who always has a broken phone can finally get a new one.
Oh, it's just a scratch. It's broken. No.
Oh.
It's busted.
We're good. Oh, no.
Get $1,200 off any phone with no trade-in needed. U.S. Cellular, built for us.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. Call today for free information.
Call 800-550-5543.
As a veteran of our country's armed services, you have already made the ultimate sacrifice. Through no fault of your own, you may be experiencing hardships, such as the inability to pay rent, utilities, or receive other life-sustaining services. The Veterans Rental Assistance Program was created by and for people living in Wisconsin. No Wisconsin veteran should ever have to face homelessness or lose heat, power, or water again.
At Lawton Cates, we connect you with top medical specialists after a serious injury. We hold the insurance company responsible for your lost wages and hospital bills, and we won't accept anything less than what you deserve. Your life counts. Lawton Cates.
Are you hungry?
If you're shopping for the cheapest insurance, you're shopping for the wrong thing. After all, insurance coverage is really just a promise. And why would anyone want a cheap promise?
Don't be scared.
You've worked hard for what you have. Protect your home or business with a promise from a company that you trust.
I love you, kitten, and I hope you like it here.
Ask your independent insurance agent about a policy from West Bend.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Welcome back and happy Cinco de Mayo. It is a day, of course, set aside to celebrate Mexican culture. Mandy Gaither shows us how to celebrate a little bit healthier.
From fatty foods to syrupy drinks, celebrating Cinco de Mayo can have you collecting those calories.
We want to enjoy ourselves, but not go overboard.
Cleveland Clinic registered dietitian Julia Zumpano says whether you're going out or staying in, to be mindful of what you choose to eat. That starts with snacking.
Things like the chips and salsa and chips and queso and things that are put out. So really try to avoid or limit the snack foods and try to focus on having like a real meal.
From lettuce to tomatoes and different types of salsas or fajitas, Mexican cuisine offers a lot of opportunities to eat veggies. Zumpano says to focus on filling your plate with those.
If you have the option of protein, really sticking to leaner sources of protein, like a chicken or a turkey, or even like shrimp or fish versus the heavier red meats.
If you're going to enjoy a margarita, Zumpano says to do so in moderation while consuming lots of water. She says to avoid pitchers of drinks and choose lighter cocktails if possible.
Something like a fresh margarita or what we call skinny margarita, which may just have some fresh lime juice and, the liquor and maybe a small amount of simple syrup and ice. So something very light.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Or just have fun. If you're celebrating at home, she says you can also limit the added fat you consume by choosing low-fat or fat-free versions of things like cheese, sour cream, and refried beans. Also, try swapping out the sour cream for low-fat plain Greek yogurt and limit the oil you consume by cooking with an oil spray. Final check of your First Warn forecast in just a moment.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point. And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
There's nothing better than a great night's sleep on a new Beauty Rest mattress from Steinhafels. Beauty Rest mattresses are assembled in Wisconsin. And right now, queens start at just $449. Or upgrade to the luxury and comfort of a Beauty Rest Black. Plus, get $300 in Steinhafels cash. Beauty Rest Black Queen mattresses start at just $49 per month when you use Steinhafels' special 72-month financing. Shop in-store or online today at steinhafels.com.
Leisure Concepts has your new hot tub in stock and ready for immediate delivery. Steel and composite construction and the perimeter installation is so quiet. We'll deliver everything you need to easily keep your hot tub crystal clear, including knowledge. That neck-deep hot water massage feels amazing every day of the year. You'll never get tired of it. Get to Leisure Concepts and see almost 70 hot tubs that are ready for immediate delivery to your backyard.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To your big promotion.
And to your new house. I know.
What? I guess you had to move fast in this market.
Right? Best thing I did was get a pre-approval from Summit. Once I knew my budget, I only looked at homes I could make a serious offer on.
And how's construction going on your place?
1 month left.
Must be stressful.
Actually, no. I'm working with Summit too, and they've been great about answering all my questions and guiding me along. It's been easy.
Whether you're building or buying a home, Summit Credit Union is here to help.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Did you leave the lights on?
No.
What the?
I'll go check it out.
I'm not a raccoon whisperer, but I can help you upgrade all this.
With free installation on Felco windows, siding, doors, and roofing, plus no money down and no interest for 1 year. There's never been a better time to upgrade your home.
This offer ends soon. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Felco.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point. And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
On this Friday night, we go on the road with a story about how a lot of kindness and a little bit of art healed wounds. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Julian's back. One final check of the forecast.
Well, things are going to get a bit messy this weekend, so the best case of action is just to make sure you're up to date with the first warned weather team. We're looking at showers, warm weather, and potentially some storms that could be strong, specifically for our Sunday nights going into our Monday. A bit of a break from Tuesday to Thursday, but still more unsettled weather going into next weekend. So I'm going to have to keep that rain gear nearby, and on top of it, try to enjoy the warmer weather while we have it, though things are starting to feel a bit more like summer over the next several days.
Yeah, it's good to feel those temperatures warming up again. I don't know if I want to get all these showers rolling through.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to get outside, enjoy it. Just be ready for those pop-up showers as they come through. Julian, thank you. We're back in 30 minutes. Charlotte will rejoin me for News 3 Now at 6. The CBS Evening News, of course, is right now.